So many things went wrong today, but the Mariners were able to walk the tightrope to secure a series sweep of the Chicago White Sox. Let's talk about it. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Thursday, August 7th, 2025. This is Tony Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners post-game show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. Mariners walk off the White Sox 4-3 this afternoon. It was a sloppy game, to say the least. A game in which almost the entire Mariners bullpen had to be used. But the Mariners, at the end of it, come out of it with a big sweep of the White Sox, and we'll talk all about it. We also have some fairly positive injury news on Josh Naylor, and because we have our good friend Gary Hill Jr. joining us on tomorrow's show, we're going to spend a little time on today's show talking about this upcoming weekend series with the Braves, because I don't know how much of that series we're going to get into with Gary tomorrow. But yeah, looking at this game here, 4-3 win for the Mariners. Again, a lot of things went wrong for the M's today. Obviously, they lose Josh Naylor for most of it. The offense went pretty cold for most of the afternoon, which was bound to happen. They were bound to have a bad game, especially when they didn't have Naylor for most of it. Randy Arozarena does come through with a big 2-run home run. Dom Canzone walks it off with a single, but not a particularly good day for the offense. Again, they had to use pretty much the entire bullpen, which actually had a pretty solid afternoon, especially relative to expectations. So we're going to talk about those guys a little later on. But also, Logan Gilbert only went 5 innings in this one, a sight that is all too familiar this season when it comes to Logan Gilbert. 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, a lot of long plate appearances, some of which wound up ending in damage being done to Logan, like that solo home run off the bat of Michael A. Taylor. Now, he only gave up the 1 run, but I would stop well short of calling this a good start for Logan, especially with how uncertain I think we all feel about this Mariners bullpen, and asking them to, at the very least, cover 4 innings in this game. They wound up having to cover 6 in this game. But yeah, so not a great start for Logan. And it just continues this long line of struggles that he's had this season, Colby.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who will love to point out the strikeout rate, and the walk rate's really good, although he had 3 today. So it wasn't that good. He had plenty of whiffs today, but he just wasn't good. Like, this is not Logan Gilbert. This is some kind of imposter pretending to be Logan Gilbert. And I'm sure, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that the elbow isn't part of this. Not that it's so bad that he can't go out there and pitch and be effective, but that it's thrown off his command or his control a little bit. And he's just not, the stuff isn't quite there, and he's not putting guys away in a timely manner. We saw a lot of long at-bats with 2 strikes again, which has kind of been a thing for Logan. So he's getting these whiffs, he's getting these strikeouts, but it's costing him 7-8 pitches every time he does it. So you look at what he did today. The velo was fine. The spin rates were down noticeably, except on the splitter, they went way up, and that's not a good thing. You want the spin rate low on the splitter. So the stuff wasn't really there today. The command and the control wasn't as good. Obviously, he walked 3 guys. So you just look at kind of what he did today, and it just wasn't good enough. And this is one of those cases where, you're lucky you're playing a bad team, because a team like Toronto or Boston or, Houston probably score 5 or 6 off of Logan today. He was just not very good. And that's just the reality of who Logan is right now. I posted, I think that's what you do on Blue Sky. I don't know. I'm over there mostly now, guys, but that, right now, Logan Gilbert is the 4th most trustworthy starter in your own rotation right now. And I don't know if he's that close to being number 3. I really don't, because right now, I would not give the ball to Logan Gilbert in a playoff game. Not over Kirby, not over Wu, not over Castillo. And I don't even know if he's close to Castillo. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't count on this guy to get deep into ball games. I basically have to, work under the assumption that he is going to burn my bullpen for the next day, one way or another. And yeah, will he give me 5 innings of like 2-run ball? Probably. And that's all well and good, but 5 innings every single time out is just a domino effect that impacts my bullpen. It also impacts the way that Dan Wilson has to manage the next couple days, because maybe he has to try and get an extra inning or two from Luis Castillo tomorrow because he knows he doesn't have the bullets in the bullpen. So it's a domino effect when Logan Gilbert only goes out there. It took him 94 pitches to go 5 innings against the White Sox. Now the White Sox have been swinging it recently, so again,
Yep.
it's the White Sox, but they're not like the worst team we've ever seen version of the White Sox, but they're not a good baseball team. And Logan had to, scratch and claw to get there. And so the stuff didn't look good. The command and control didn't look good. The body language didn't look good today. So the fact that he went out there and threw 5 innings of 1-run ball, to me, that speaks more to the quality of the opponent than it does to the quality that we saw from Logan Gilbert. He's struggling right now. And again, I really don't think I would trust him in a playoff game right now, not a 3-game series. But there's roughly 2 months to go before you'd have to make that decision if you in fact get there. And there's still plenty of time for him to show that, he is still that guy. But right now he's only going 5. He's a 5 and fly guy, and it's not a good position to put the bullpen in. And it's not good. Like Logan Gilbert right now is more of a roadblock than he is an asset to the Mariners winning baseball games. And that's a problem. I don't care how good your offense is. You can't have your staff ace be struggling to go 5 innings against, bad teams. It's not going to work in the long run. And so, we keep on saying maybe the next time he'll pick it up, maybe he'll have a good start, and every once in a while he'll have a good start, but then the next time he goes right back to struggling to go 5. And so it's just tough to trust this guy right now. And that's unfortunate because you're built on, or at least you were planning to be built on getting 6-7 a night from Wu and Gilbert and Kirby and Castillo. And you don't need a super deep bullpen if those guys are going to go 7 innings every night. But if 2 of your guys are going to go 5 every turn through the rotation, you need a deep bullpen, and the Mariners do not have it. So there's a trickle down effect here that Logan's inability to get deep into games is impacting Seattle. Maybe not the day that Logan pitches, but in the days after, it certainly does have some kind of effect. So he needs to be better, plain and simple.
Yeah, to your point, I would trade maybe a couple more runs in the box score for Logan if it means that he's able to go a couple more innings, really, because again, it's going to, and we're going to talk about this more a little later on, like this is going to have an impact on tomorrow night's game in a huge way, and even a little bit of Saturday's game as well. Now, also a little bit of that is just, baseball, and, you're going to have some extra inning games and all that stuff. And, the offense could have easily avoided, putting a couple of extra innings on this bullpen as well by scoring a few more runs. But still, this ultimately goes back to Logan not being who you need him to be. Logan just has to be better. And yeah, he only gave up the 1 run today, but this isn't just being nitpicky here. Like, he has to get deeper into games. That's what you need out of him. 3 quality starts, and I only use that stat really just to exhibit that he hasn't been able to go 6+ much. 3 quality starts over the course of 16 starts now, and I know he's been dealing with the elbow stuff and all that, but that's just not good enough from the guy who's supposed to be your ace. Mm-hmm. So it's great that he is limiting the damage in terms of the runs scored against him for the most part. It's great that he's getting all these strikeouts, but what I ultimately need out of him right now is length, especially with the state of this bullpen, and he's just not giving that whatsoever. So I want to talk about this bullpen. I want to talk a little bit more about the offense, especially Josh Naylor. We got an injury update on him from Dan Wilson. We'll go over in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is brought to you by PrizePicks. This episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up and college football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season all before week 1 kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on big name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, run your game. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners post-game show. And for instant reactions, talking about live reactions following every Mariners game, be sure to tune in to the Mariners postcast with Anderson Hurst and Christopher Crawford, available on both the Locked On Mariners YouTube and podcast feeds. And also, football is back, kind of, tonight. First preseason game of the year for the Seahawks against Pete Carroll and the Raiders. So be sure to check in with Corbin Smith and the gang on Locked On Seahawks for reactions to that one. So, Dom Canzone, Colby, another lefty on lefty hit for Dom, just lefty on lefty success in general, and no qualifier needed. He's been good against lefties on this homestand. He's had a couple of really big hits. Obviously, the walk-off today, the single to set up JP's walk-off home run. The other night against the Rangers, he's had some quality contact that, maybe didn't lead to a hit, but was still a hard hit ball off of a lefty where maybe he took him to the warning track or what have you. That's becoming a real development here with Dom, and we'll see if that continues, but they've been willing to use him against lefties. Today they kind of had to because they had no one else left on the bench, but
I mean, and also to be fair, the
they don't have a platoon partner.
Probably Dylan Moore, so
yeah.
You might as well roll the dice.
Yeah, but still, they've had him in the lineup whenever there's been a lefty on the mound for about a week and a half now, and yeah, he's held his own. He's been able to work some walks. He's again been able to generate quality contact. He's had some big hits like today, so that's huge. And again, it's starting to look more and more like, and I won't say this definitively yet because it's still a very small sample size, but it's starting to look more and more like the Mariners are, at least as far as them being, currently constructed, justifiably platoonless.
Yeah. Which is good because again, they don't have the right-handed answers in the organization, let alone on their big league team. So they kind of have to be. Canzone, I believe, is running a 350 on base against lefties. I think he's hitting 260 against them as well. There's really no power there, but okay, if you get on base 35% of the time against one side of the plate, you certainly don't need to be benched every time they bring out a lefty. And so, the lack of options on the bench for Dan is kind of, forcing his hand a little bit, I would think. But the fact that, we've seen them for the most part let Cole Young, face lefties and let Canzone face lefties, and they're not, pulling guys like we saw early in the year where Donovan Solano enters the game in the 5th against the lefty, and it's weird because Solano isn't hitting lefties at all. We haven't seen that type of thing over the last couple of weeks. So Canzone has had a really nice homestand so far. Still 3 games to go there, but it is hard to complain about the production that Canzone's put out there defensively. But
it's an adventure out there, and he is by far the funniest runner I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes, he's like
he loves to pump those arms.
It's kind of like a baby giraffe stuck in a water hole, but it is. I mean, look, he's certainly helped. He's stabilized right field. Again, we'll have a bigger conversation about how they handle him and Rayleigh on the roster at the same time whenever that comes back into fruition. But it's been awesome to see, and it's a real development. And it's possible Canzone's a late bloomer. He was pretty good against lefties in the minors, usable against them. in his career.
Kind of this year, not at all last year. He was bad against them last year.
I mean, he's been bad against lefties in the big leagues until this year too.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of one of those things. I don't know. You ride the hot hand for now. I don't know if you can keep it up for another 2 months, but whether he can or not, he's giving you good at bats both against lefties and righties, and he's definitely lengthened the lineup. So, it's a really good homestand for Canzone, and just a really good now. Almost 2 months, or I don't. Is it early June or late June he got called up, but whatever.
The season's been a blur, man.
Yeah,
I could not tell
he's
you.
been good since he's been called up, and he's helped the Mariners, and that's really all you could hope for.
Yeah, no, he's been awesome, and the fact that he's been able to sustain as well. I mean, now it's been a couple of months or however long it's been, and he's still producing, and he's producing in a lot of different ways, and he's producing in a lot of different situations. That's awesome. Super awesome to see. So yeah, it's been a great development, and what he and JP and Cole Young have been doing at the bottom of the lineup since the trade deadline, since the start of this homestand, has been great. I mean, that's really been the strongest part of this Mariners lineup consistently on over the course of this homestand. And that kind of goes back to how they were winning games early on this year, where the bottom of the lineup was coming through. Now they are way more talented now at the bottom of this lineup than they were back then, but still it's kind of a similar formula to when they were winning all those series in a row, right? When guys like Leo Rivas and Miles Mastrobuoni, who by the way came through in a big way today, had a big steal, didn't end up scoring, but had a big steal there of third. Whatever. I'm glad that they won this game, so we don't have to hyper fixate on a couple of things, right? Dan being Dan.
Careful. Because I can turn this episode around real quick.
I know you can.
Your words carefully here.
I know you can. But and then obviously the confirmed call on the hit by pitch, quote unquote, of Curtis Mead.
Yeah. Stands I would have understood. Confirmed.
Yeah. Confirmed is wild. Stands, I get it, because that's such a close, mostly judgment call.
Sure, but what's weird to me is that they said we called it a hit by pitch, but initially they didn't at all. Their first call was fair ball.
The first base umpire called it fair and then out at first, right? I don't think the home plate umpire.
The home plate umpire never threw up his arms though. He just stood there and let the ball roll out, and then he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll call it a hit by pitch." What are you doing, man? That's your call.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Yeah. Hey, we belabored this point long enough. Josh Naylor obviously left the game pretty early on in this one. He looked really uncomfortable after a very violent swing during his first at bat. He took a second at bat and looked uncomfortable on pretty much every swing that he took. We got fairly positive news from Dan Wilson after the game on Naylor, though. He's dealing with a little bit of shoulder soreness and is considered day to day, as we all are, to steal it from Ryan Divish, who's back, by the way. Nice to see Divish back. But so Naylor, day to day, he apparently was dealing with a shoulder thing in June with the Diamondbacks. I don't know if this is the same shoulder, so I don't know if he re-aggravated something or what have you. It does seem like Mariners have hopefully dodged a bigger bullet here with Naylor.
Sure. It's something they're probably going to have to deal with all year, just managing that issue. So, it is what it is. Guys get nicked up throughout the year. Maybe you keep them out for a couple days and give it a real shot to rest. But I mean, it's not an oblique yet. So I guess you'll take it.
And I didn't think it was, because I feel like I am saying this about Josh Naylor, but I feel like we would have gotten more of a reaction from him had it been an oblique. But he didn't really reach for any. He didn't really reach for anything. He was just kind of grimacing.
Yeah. Which I mean, to be fair, is his default facial expression. So
yeah.
But
honestly, I wasn't sure if he was just mad at himself for missing the pitch.
I mean, I noticed something.
Yeah.
After the first at bat, I was like, this kind of looks weird. But
and he called time after the swing. I was like, all right, something
seems a little
there.
off. But
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
So so I would assume he's probably not going to play tomorrow night, but we'll see. It seems like there is a chance though that he'll play in the series, and he won't
thankfully Donovan
require a
Solano.
NIL stint.
Yeah, thankfully Donovan Solano has one at bat in his since July 24th, I believe. So he should be well rested and ready to go. I'm sure the timing will be impeccable.
Donnie Barrels lives. Donnie Barrels is going yard tomorrow.
Just saying, should we have traded Tyler Locklear now? It's the dumbest thing I've seen on the internet, by the way, and that's saying something.
All right, so let's talk about this bullpen a little bit, what they were able to do today, and how that kind of leads into this weekend's series with the Tampa Bay Rays in just a moment. But first, a reminder: this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like the energy of an MLS match, the chants, the atmosphere, the last minute goals. If you want to experience it all live, Gametime makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying MLS tickets. Plus, ticket prices actually drop as kickoff gets closer, so you can score amazing seats at a great price. I love that I can see the exact view from my seat before I buy, so there's no surprises when I get to the stadium. Gametime also has event cancellation protection and even job loss assurance, so I can buy with confidence. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners post-game show. So, hey, the Mariners bullpen, which has been very shaky and obviously did not have a good night last night, trying to hang on to a big Mariners lead, was actually pretty darn good this afternoon. Now, Carlos Vargas obviously gave up the game-tying home run to Brooks Baldwin, I think. Yeah,
yep.
He hit the second home run of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, pretty good stuff from the bullpen. Obviously, Bizzardo gets tagged, quote unquote, for that run in the 10th inning, but
Bizzardo was really good again.
Mitch Garver should catch that ball first and foremost. Just say that.
Rough
That at bat
Mitch.
shouldn't have even happened in the first place. Because again, that ball looked like it went off the knob of the bat. But whatever.
I mean, also just catch a fastball if you're a catcher.
Yeah. Matt Brash got into a little bit of trouble, but when he really needed it, though, he was actually able to get some big swings and misses, which is a really nice development for Matt, because since July 1st, he had been running a 12.2% whiff rate. That is not good. Matt needs to miss bats. And thankfully today, when the time called for it, he was able to do that on a couple of big pitches. So that was nice to see. Mooney had a clean inning, nice running grab by Randy there in the left field corner. And then, hey, Jackson Kowar, who gave up a couple home runs the other night, comes through with a clean 11th inning to keep the White Sox off the board and give the Mariners a prime opportunity to walk this thing off. And thank God they took advantage of it, because if I was going to have to watch Casey Legumina pitch in the 12th inning, I was going to crash out. I'm not going to lie. I was going to crash out.
Yeah. Casey Legumina, the only guy who didn't participate in today's game, and that does not feel like an accident. So, yeah. Bullpen, like you said, pretty good overall. It's still sketchy in more places than it should be. The home run Vargas gave up, it wasn't necessarily a cheap one, but it was only a home run in 9 ballparks. Like, he just kind of hooked it in the right spot, but whatever. Spire, pretty good. Gabe might be the guy.
I forgot to mention him. Thank you for mentioning Gabe Spire.
Most people do. But Gabe Spire might be the reliever I trust the most right now, because Munoz is really struggling with his command and control recently. Today he was better, but he struggled recently. Bizzardo had the really bad outing on what was it?
It was Tuesday. Last night.
Oh, last night. Yeah. Again, the season runs together. And then he bounces back today. And again, he looked really good. And, unfortunately, Mitch Garver, who had a rough day at the plate, had a really bad day behind it as well. somebody didn't see the Harry Ford home run last night would be my guess. But yeah, it was rough. And so it kind of looks like, they gave up a couple runs in this one, but no, not really. Pizzardo did his job. They gave up 1 run earned in this game. And they got some big strikeouts when they needed to. Again, more traffic than you would like. The bullpen gave up 5 hits, and they walked a guy too, and they hit a guy, technically. So, yeah, it was a lot of traffic generated. And again, I'll continue to, bring home this point. They should have added a bullpen arm at the deadline, another one, but whatever. Today, the bullpen did a good job. Which is great because unfortunately they had to cover 6 innings, both because, Logan only went 5 and also because the Mariners offense refuses to score runs in the 10th inning.
It's so weird.
I don't think the Mariners have won a game in the 10th. I think every extra inning win they've had this year has come in the 11th. It really is weird.
Yeah. So Luis Castillo, you have been tasked now with going at least 7 tomorrow night.
Ugh.
We might need more out of you, bud.
You might. I mean,
so okay, who
it seems unfair to ever ask any starter to go more than 6. Like 6 is a good number. That's a good start, no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, assuming you don't give up like 9 runs, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Might have to go 7.
Yeah. Who all went last night out of the bullpen? Mooney, so he's down. Bizzardo, he's down.
Yep.
Spire pitched last night.
I believe so. But Spire only threw 9 pitches today.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you can make it work. Here, let me just pull this up real quick instead of just guessing.
The thing to keep in mind, Munoz only threw 10 pitches today. Spire only threw 9.
Yeah.
Bizzardo only threw 15, but I believe all 3 of those guys, if they threw tomorrow, would be pitching 3 consecutive games.
Yes.
Now, Dan's been willing to do that with Bizzardo a couple times. I don't recall an instance where he's done that with either Spire or Munoz. So I think for high leverage arms tomorrow, you might only have Brash.
Yeah.
So
Brash has gone back to back a few times now.
Yeah,
he went back to back against the Rangers. He went back to back against the Angels. So, like, it seems like he's
available tomorrow.
It seems like he's fully cleared to do all that. So yeah, so I think you have Brash, and then Legamina didn't pitch today.
Yep. You'll have Coar, probably Ferguson.
Ferguson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'll see if there's a roster move that they make tomorrow just to get a fresh arm in there, but I don't know who that would be, and I think you would probably be moving on from one of the guys who actually is available tomorrow in order to make that move. So I don't even know if that really makes sense.
I mean, like Legamina is available tomorrow. There's really not anybody better in the minors right now, sadly. Coar is the only other guy that has an option, and he's going to be available tomorrow as well. So I'm not sure. Maybe again, we've talked about they could send down Logan Evans and have an extra bullpen arm for a couple days and then bring up Hancock to make the next start. But the Mariners have yet to do that. And I think we know why. So we'll see what they do tomorrow. But yeah, I don't think it's likely that there's going to be a move made, but my recommendation would be to score 7-8 runs and have Luis Castillo go 7 innings of, 2-run ball. That would be what I would try to do. But, what do I know? I think bunting is stupid.
Now, the issue with that is they're facing Drew Rasmussen tomorrow. And Drew Rasmussen is very good at pitching baseballs.
Yes, but he's also only going to go 5 innings.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Some fun pitching matchups this weekend, by the way.
Yeah. We'll get into that in a second.
Versus Wu.
Yeah. Yeah. So to your point, Rasmussen has gone 5 1/3, 5, 4, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5 1/3, 5 in his last however many starts that was that I just listed.
Yeah, they've been pretty clear this year that like Rasmussen is going to go 5 most, and then we're going to take him out. Like that's just kind of how they view him. So, yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday, which is Ichiro's jersey retirement night.
I wonder if that'll come up with Gary Hill.
That certainly will. I think it's safe to say that will. Yeah. It's going to be Logan Evans against Joe Boyle, who you really like, not to be confused with friend of the show, Joe Doyle. And then Sunday, we've got Adrian Hauser against Brian Wu. That was a weird trade for the Rays, getting Hauser from the White Sox.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, the Rays also went out, they got Griffin Jacks, but they traded Zach Little. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And
no Jonathan. Yeah, the trade Cabby. No Jonathan Aranda in this series. So caught a bit of a break there, but I mean, it's still Yandy, it's still Caminero, and it's still the Rays. Like, so it doesn't matter who they bring to the ballpark, they're going to be annoying, and you're going to have to, bring your A game to beat them. And keep in mind the Rays are looking to get back into this thing. Like, they're kind of on the fringes of playoff contention right now. If they can sweep you, they're right back in the race. So, I wouldn't take this team too lightly. And obviously you have a bit of a disadvantage anytime Logan Evans goes on the mound relative to other teams. Like, if you're not facing the other team's number 5, you're at a disadvantage that night. And, we'll see. But hopefully the offense performs much better than it did today, because they're going to need to score some runs this weekend, if for no other reason to take some pressure off of the bullpen.
Yeah. The Mariners, if you remember, faced Adrian Hauser in his first start of the season back in May when he was with the White Sox.
Great.
And he smoked them. Or maybe a better way of saying it is that the Mariners allowed themselves to get smoked by Adrian Hauser.
Say it however you want. He embarrassed you.
Yeah, he went 6 in that one. They didn't score a single run off of him. I think they lost that game 1-0.
Yep.
If I remember correctly. He did walk 3, so he gave them some opportunities and only struck out 2, but yeah. All right. That is going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners post-game show. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also us on Instagram at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.